Hello, this is a recap of an American movie called The Core. Please don't forget to subscribe. Let's begin. The movie begins in Boston, Massachusetts. Three enthusiastic business persons get ready to go into a meeting. As soon as they walk in, one person falls unconsciousness. At the same time, many people pass out dead throughout the city, and several accidents take place at the same time. Meanwhile, at the University of Chicago, Dr. Josh Keys is teaching students about sound waves. His lecture is interrupted by two men in black suits who insist he come with them. Josh is confused but agrees anyway. They get him in a jet and bring him to a facility in Washington. When Josh meets his old friend Dr. Serge, shares an unclear weapon specialist, and was urgently called to the facility. They are taken to a morgue-like place with many dead bodies and are greeted by Lieutenant General Thomas Purcell. The lieutenant informs them that all the dead bodies have the same date and time of death. By the clue, Josh instantly guesses that all of them had pacemakers inserted in their hearts. The dude is here to help them figure out what caused the pacemaker to stop working. The lieutenant assumes that it is a result of an electromagnetic pulse weapon, but Josh assures him that it can't be possible. Meanwhile, in Trafalgar Square, London, many birds start falling dead on the ground, while others randomly launch at the people and buildings. Sometime later, Josh and his co-worker friends watch the news about the event on TV. Josh finally realizes that the death of the people and the bird attack might be related to the Earth's magnetic field. He asks his co-worker to get hold of any other similar bizarre events happening in the world. Josh then gets on his computer, wishing that his theory is wrong. Somewhere else in outer space, Major Rebecca, Beck, Childs, and Commander Bob Everson are ready to land the space shuttle Endeavour back in Earth. When they enter the atmosphere, a magnetic instability causes them to lose communication with the mission control. Then they notice the shuttle's line of launch is wrong and is about to crash land. Beck quickly makes some calculation and changes the course. Following her calculation, they land into LA River, avoiding any property or life damage. Meanwhile, an Earth specialist named Dr. Connor Zemeski is approached by Josh. He presents his ideas to Zemeski too condescendingly, asks him to meet at his office. Later, Josh explains about the magnetic field to him, but an arrogant Zemeski claims it to be false. Although Zemeski acts like he didn't care. After Josh leaves, he brings out a secret file and calls Lieutenant Thomas to tell him about the discovery. Meanwhile, Josh and Serge are at a bar talking when they are interrupted by the guards again. They take the dude to a conference where high-ranking officials concerned with the matter are called. Zemeski presents the discovery as his own and asks Josh to explain it to the panel. Josh uses a half-cut speech to present the Earth and explains that the Earth's inner core has stopped spinning because of an unknown reason. This means that the electromagnetic field around the Earth will soon disappear, which will further expose the Earth's surface to unfiltered solar radiation. Josh uses fire and pitch to show what will happen to the Earth in a few months. The lieutenant asks for a solution and Josh replies that there isn't one. However, Zemeski is adamant about finding a way to restart the planet. The group immediately flies to Utah to meet Dr. Edward Brazelton. Braz shows them his invention, called the ultrasonic laser, which can create holes in any dense rock. Using this technology, they can create a hole through the ground that will lead them to the Earth's core. Lieutenant Thomas offers Braz all resources he needs to create a ship that will take them to the core. They plan to set off unclear charges into the Earth's core to induce force that will rotate it again. While inducing the charges is not that difficult, traveling to the core is the team's biggest problem. Somewhere else, FBI agent meet a hiker named Donald Rat Finch. They take the man to the lieutenant and the team. Pat has been recruited to control the flow of information on the internet and to prevent any information about the mission from being circulated. Meanwhile, Beck and Bob, who managed to land the shuttle safely earlier, are praised for their quick thinking. The lieutenant walks in and assigns the two to accompany Josh, Serge, Zemeski, and Braz on the mission. Some days later, a conference is organized to declare the official initiation of the mission. Beck meets Josh and her team member for the first time. Josh is declared the head of the mission. to Zemeckis, he starts narrating the preparation period that will go on for the next 3 months. First, Bruce and his team of experienced scientists will manufacture the first ever ship that will be capable of reaching the center of our planet. The ship will be a multi-compartment vessel called the Virgil. Zemeckis is responsible for calculating the scale of the explosion needed to restart the radiation of the core. Peg and Bob will pilot the ship while Sergei is in charge of initiating the nuclear reaction. 3 months later, the ship is almost ready, the members train and prepare themselves for the mission. During this time, Josh and Peg start to harbor feelings for each other. Before the team can start the mission, an aggressive thunderstorm starts striking the planet's surface, which further brings back the mission's deadline. The team finally travels to South Pacific from where the ship Virgil waits for them. They board the ship, and after getting a green light from the mission control, Virgil finally takes a dive into the Pacific Ocean. They are welcomed by whales swimming alongside them. In no time, the ship reaches the depth. The ultrasonic laser works their magic, and the ship managed to rise through the ground. After the first 12 hours, the ship have reached 700 miles below the Earth's surface. They are certainly traveling through the mantle and are about to enter the empty space. They hadn't taken the space into consideration during the preparation, so they brace themselves for aggressive turbulence. The ship then enters an area full of purple crystal. Unfortunately for the crew, the ship stops when one crystal jams the ultrasonic laser. The only way to fix the problem is by going out and removing the crystal manually. Everyone except for Beck steps out and is mesmerized by the view. As Buzz and Josh cut the crystals that jammed the laser, hot lava starts powering nearby. Zemeckis quickly runs inside the ship, leaving the others by themselves. They finally manage to cut the crystal that was blocking the ship, but Josh runs out of oxygen and falls unconsciousness in the process. Luckily, Serge managed to save his friend's life and brings him inside. Bob is outside, seeing if the laser will work. Pig turns them on, and the two are delighted when it starts working. However, just then a crystal falls on Bob and punctures his suit. He falls onto the hot lava and dies. Big freezes in shock, seeing her partner fall into a pit of fire. She quickly composes herself and gets on Bob's seat to restart the ship. Virgo dives into the molten lava, narrowly escaping the falling crystals. Josh regains consciousness and is told about Bob. They mourn their teammate's death and are focused with the harsh reality that they can die at any moment in the mission. It is now the second day since the mission starts. Josh, Serge, and Braz are in the weapon compartment when suddenly the ship goes through turbulence. Pig advises the group to get out of there, as they will have to eject the compartment to stop the ship from malfunctioning. The three run outside, but Serge realizes that he left his charts and launch codes in the compartment. Without them, they won't be able to initiate the nuclear reactor. He goes inside the compartment and hands Josh the codes, but is locked there in the process. To save him, Josh asks Peg to override the ejection system, but Zemeckis tells her that the wild ship will have to face the consequences. The life of one person should not put the life of humanity in danger. Hearing this, Big makes the decision to sacrifice Sergei. Eventually, Sergei is crushed and the compartment is ejected. Josh cries watching his friend die through a monitor. Sometime later, the mission control sees that Virgil is about to finally enter the Earth's core. When it does, it goes at a higher speed than they had predicted. Big believes this is a good thing because they can complete the mission sooner, but Zemeckis figure out that they will not be able to rotate the core because of the unexpected destiny. According to him, they should abort the mission and return to the surface, but the group disagrees. Regardless, he informs the mission control about the situation and tells them they will have to port. The mission control puts their backup plan into action. The backup plan is a top secret project, Destiny Deep Earth Seismic Trigger Initiative. The group finds out that Destiny is an old project led by Zemeckis. It was intended to be used as a weapon by the US. However, when it was first tested, it caused the core's radiation to stop. So Zemeckis and his team were the reason for the chaos all along, but didn't tell anyone to avoid taking accountability. The scientist believes that using the destiny can restart the core, but according to Josh, it will only destroy the planet further. The lieutenant is ordered to start the Project Destiny and bring Virgil back, but Josh suggests that they continue with the original plan and asks the lieutenant to launch Destiny only if they fail. However, Zemeckis retaliates, saying that if they do not get out before Destiny is initiated, they will surely die. On the surface, the lack of electromagnetic field causes a ripple in the atmosphere. The heat from the sun melts the Golden Gate Bridge and the area around it. The team doesn't have long before Project Destiny initiate. Josh manages to contact hacker Bat secretly and tells him to hack into the mainframe and stop Destiny from starting. Josh and Brass try to figure out a way they can restart the core. Zemeckis suggests they create a ripple effect by changing the time of detonation. They are relieved to see the simulation of the process is success, but the group knows that the execution will not be as easy. After reaching 2,600 miles inside the surface, they finally enter the innermost core. Zemeckis suggests they eject each compartment with the nuclear war force, but they will have to modify the ship's gear to make it possible. The only problem is that to modify the gear, someone will have to go inside a tiny compartment where the temperature is extremely high. Basically, whoever goes in definitely die. They use text to decide who will do the task. Brass gets the shorter and accepts his fate. He wears a suit and hugs his member goodbye before going into the compartment. The temperature is extremely high, but Brass's suit protects him temporarily. He successfully modifies the compartment and to complete his mission, but unfortunately dies in the process. The group does not have time to mourn his death. Then, Zemeckis and Josh take the nuclear weapons to each compartment for them to be ejected. Back in the surface, the Destiny project is stopped when Bat hacks the project simulator. In Virgil, 2 of compartments are successfully ejected, but when they are at the third one, turbulence hits. The weapon rolls over Zemeckis' legs, trapping him in the compartment. He asks Josh to run away as he steps behind waiting for his death. Josh finally completes the mission of ejection the weapon. Suddenly, the ship stops working and Josh and Beck sit together awaiting their last moment. But just then, Josh tells Beck that they can use the heat from the core to restart the ship. Zemeckis, who is still alive in the compartment, laughs hysterically as the explosion goes off. The series of explosions causes the core to spin again. The mission has finally been completed and the world is saved. However, Josh and Beck still struggle to save their lives. They finally manage to restart the ship using the heat from the core, and they kiss in joy. Virgil makes its way to the surface at a high speed. However, once they reach the surface, the mission loses its connection with the ship. They see its location and they figure it is landing somewhere near Hawaii. When the ship reaches the bottom of the ocean, it stops because of the lack of heat to fuel it. Beck and Josh can do nothing but wait for help. Many ships are sent to look for the two, but they find no signs of the ship. Just then, they catch the sound created by whales surrounding the ship. Using the whale, they navigate the ship and rescue the two. It is now a week later. Bat in a cafe, inserting CD on his laptop. He plans to share the whale mission and the crew's bravery with the world. The crew's sacrifice didn't go in vain, as people will remember them as heroes who saved the planet Earth.